German Shepherd gives owner final hug before being put down. Then something unbelievable happens. In the hushed veterinary room, Max, a loyal German Shepherd, lay still, his once vibrant eyes dulled by pain. The small town of Riverdale held its breath as Marcus Thornton, a rugged firefighter, cradled his companion of 8 years. The clock ticked mercilessly toward Max's final moment, the syringe of sedative gleaming under sterile lights. Marcus's heart shattered as Max's labored breaths filled the silence, each one a countdown to an unbearable goodbye. The veterinarian, Dr. Collins, stood ready, her own eyes misty, tissues clutched tightly. This was no ordinary dog. Max had been Marcus's anchor through divorce, loss, and the nightmares of a firefighter's life. Their bond was a lifeline, unbreakable, or so they thought. Yet, in that suffocating moment, something stirred. Max, frail and fading, summoned an impossible strength. His paws, trembling with effort, reached up, wrapping around Marcus's shoulders in a hug so tender, so human, it froze the room. Gasps echoed from the staff as Max's muzzle pressed against Marcus's neck, a gesture of love defying death itself. For 30 seconds, time stopped, the embrace a silent vow between souls. Dr. Collins whispered, "I've never seen this," her voice trailing off, her training useless against this miracle. But as Max sank back, his strength spent, the room braced for the end. The sedative was moments away, Marcus's tears soaking Max's fur. Then, a faint twitch Max's ear flicked. His eyes, clouded moments ago, snapped open with startling clarity. A soft woof escaped his lips, impossible under the sedative's weight. Dr. Collins froze, syringe in hand, as Max's gaze locked on Marcus. What was happening? Could this dog, moments from death, be fighting back? A spark of hope flickered in the darkness, daring them to believe in the impossible. The spring air in Riverdale carried a deceptive warmth, masking the chill that settled over the veterinary hospital's garden room. Soft sunlight filtered through large windows, dappling the worn blue blanket where Max, the German Shepherd, lay. The courtyard beyond bloomed with vivid tulips, their reds and yellows swaying in a gentle breeze. Yet the scene felt heavy with unspoken grief. A bubbling fountain murmured, its rhythm a stark contrast to Marcus Thornton's uneven breaths as he knelt beside his fading companion. The garden room, designed for farewells, held a quiet beauty, but its serenity clashed with the storm raging in Marcus's heart. Marcus's calloused hands trembled as they stroked Max's graying fur, each touch a plea for more time. The firefighter's weathered face, etched with years of loss, betrayed his longing for the dog who'd been his shadow through life's darkest moments. Outside, clouds gathered, casting fleeting shadows across the room, as if nature itself mourned. Max's collar, adorned with a single silver tag, glinted faintly in the shifting light, a subtle beacon of hope amid the despair. The tag's soft jingle, once a soundtrack to their adventures, now felt like a fading echo. The hospital's hum, distant barks, the clink of medical tools, faded into irrelevance. Marcus's world narrowed to Max's shallow breaths, each one a fragile thread tying them together. His fingers lingered on the blanket's frayed edge, a relic of countless nights when Max had curled up at his feet. A butterfly, inexplicably vibrant for early spring, fluttered against the window, its wings a fleeting promise of life. Marcus's chest tightened, torn between dread and a stubborn flicker of faith. Could Max, who'd always sensed his pain, feel the love pouring from him now? As the clouds parted, a single ray of sunlight bathed Max's face, and Marcus dared to hope something extraordinary lingered in the air. Marcus Thornton, a 38-year-old firefighter in Riverdale, carried the weight of a life shaped by sacrifice. His broad shoulders, accustomed to bearing the burdens of others, sagged under the scars of personal losses. A bitter divorce, the death of his mother, and the haunting memory of a factory fire rescue that went tragically wrong. Nightmares often jolted him awake, his sweat-soaked sheets a testament to battles fought in silence. Yet, through every storm, one constant anchored him, Max, his 8-year-old German Shepherd, whose unwavering loyalty was a balm to Marcus's wounded soul. Max was no ordinary dog. His deep brown eyes, flecked with gold, seemed to peer into Marcus's heart, understanding pain no words could convey. When Marcus's marriage crumbled, Max rested his head in his lap, a silent vow to stay. After his mother's passing, Max's gentle nudges pulled Marcus from despair. His quirks, chasing his tail in sudden bursts of puppy-like joy or tilting his head at the sound of sirens, brought rare smiles to Marcus's weathered face. At the fire station, Max was the unofficial mascot, his enthusiastic barks greeting the crew, his presence a reminder of resilience. But those eyes, so full of knowing, held a mystery Marcus couldn't unravel. Sometimes, Max would pause mid-stride, staring into the distance as if sensing something beyond human perception. Marcus often wondered what secrets lay behind that gaze, what unspoken wisdom Max carried. Their bond, forged in shared trials, felt almost otherworldly, as if Max was more than a companion, a guardian of something greater. Now, in the veterinary hospital, Marcus sat by Max's side, his heart fracturing as Max lay weakened by an unseen enemy. Just days ago, they'd hiked Riverdale's trails, Max bounding ahead with his usual vigor. How had it come to this? Dr. Collins's grim diagnosis, acute kidney failure, aggressive tumors, loomed like a death sentence. Marcus's hands shook as he stroked Max's fur, his mind grappling with the impossible choice ahead. Yet, as Max's tail gave a faint twitch, a spark of defiance flickered in his eyes. Could there be a chance, however slim, that Max's strength held one final surprise? The veterinary hospital's sterile air pressed against Marcus Thornton's chest as he stared at Max, his German shepherd, lying motionless on the examination table. Only days ago, Max had bounded through Riverdale's sun-dappled trails, his tail a blur of joy. Now, his once robust frame seemed diminished, his breaths shallow and ragged. Dr. Amanda Collins, her face etched with sorrow, delivered the devastating truth. Max suffered from acute kidney failure, his blood saturated with toxins no dog could survive. Worse, an ultrasound revealed aggressive tumors riddling his abdomen, strangling his organs. The prognosis was merciless. Max had hours, perhaps a day, before his suffering would become unbearable. Marcus's world tilted. His mind raced back to their last hike, searching for clues. Had Max lapped up tainted water? Ingested a stray plant? He shook his head, bewildered. He was fine, Marcus muttered, his voice hoarse. Just 3 days ago. Dr. Collins's hand rested gently on his arm, her eyes soft but unyielding. The cancer's too advanced, Marcus. Even with aggressive treatment, he's in pain. The kindest thing. She didn't finish, but the word hung like a guillotine. Euthanasia. Marcus recoiled, his heart rejecting the idea. Max had been his rock. Through the divorce that left him hollow, the grief of his mother's death, the nightmares that replayed the Millfield factory fire where he'd lost a colleague. Losing Max wasn't just losing a pet. It was losing the one soul who understood his silences. I need time, he choked out, tears burning his eyes. Dr. Collins nodded, administering pain medication and fluids to ease Max's discomfort. But her solemn gaze offered no false promises. In the hospital's private garden, Marcus spread Max's favorite blue blanket under a maple tree, its leaves rustling in the spring breeze. He settled Max carefully, wincing at the soft whimper that escaped despite the medication. The courtyard's beauty, blooming flowers, a trickling fountain, felt cruelly indifferent to the grief consuming him. Marcus sat cross-legged, his hand never leaving Max's fur, as memories flooded in. Max as a gangly puppy, tripping over his oversized ears. Max lying beside him during sleepless nights, his warmth a shield against despair. You've never left me, Marcus whispered, his voice breaking. I won't leave you. His phone buzzed with messages from the fire station crew, Max's extended family. Chief Ramirez offered to bring the team to say goodbye, but Marcus couldn't share this moment. It was too raw, too sacred. As afternoon faded, dark clouds rolled in, and a gentle rain began to fall, mirroring Marcus's tears. He spoke softly to Max, recounting their adventures. "Remember when you found that lost girl in the storm? You wouldn't stop searching." Max's eyes, though clouded, seemed to flicker at Marcus's voice, a faint spark of recognition. Night fell, and Marcus refused to leave, camping on the floor beside Max's bed in the recovery ward. Dr. Collins, moved by their bond, bent hospital rules to allow it. Max's condition worsened, his breathing more labored, his body weaker. By dawn, Dr. Collins's morning rounds confirmed the inevitable. "It's time, Marcus," she said gently. "He's fighting, but the cancer's winning." Marcus's throat tightened as he nodded, requesting the garden room for their final moments. A place Max loved, with its open windows and sense of the outdoors. Two assistants carefully moved Max to the garden room, laying him on a soft blanket where sunlight streamed through. Birds chirped outside, and a breeze carried the scent of lilacs, a cruel reminder of life continuing beyond this moment. Dr. Collins explained the process. A sedative to ease Max into sleep, followed by the final injection. "Take your time," she said, placing the sedative syringe on a table. Marcus knelt, his fingers tracing Max's graying muzzle. Those eyes, which had watched over him for 8 years, still held love, even through pain. "You're my best friend," Marcus whispered, his voice cracking. "I don't know how to do this without you." As Marcus spoke, Max stirred. With agonizing effort, he lifted his head, his body trembling. Before Marcus could react, Max shifted, his front paws rising to drape over Marcus's shoulders in a deliberate, heart-wrenching embrace. The room stilled, the assistants gasped, and Dr. Collins's hand flew to her mouth. For nearly 30 seconds, Max held Marcus, his muzzle pressed against his neck, as if pouring every ounce of love into this final act. "I've never seen anything like this," Dr. Collins murmured, tears in her eyes. The moment was sacred, a testament to a bond that defied explanation. Max sank back, exhausted, his breathing more strained. Marcus, sobbing, nodded to Dr. Collins. "It's time," he said, unable to let Max suffer longer. She approached with the sedative, her movements reverent. Marcus cradled Max's head, whispering reassurances as the needle pierced his skin. Max's body relaxed, his eyes growing heavy, still fixed on Marcus. Dr. Collins prepared the final injection, her voice soft. "He'll feel no pain now." But then, a tremor ran through Max's body. His left ear twitched, and his eyes, moments ago dulled by sedation, snapped open with startling clarity. A soft, alert woof escaped his lips, impossible given the sedative's strength. Dr. Collins froze, the syringe poised in her hand. "This can't be," she whispered, her medical training unraveling. Max lifted his head, his gaze sharp, locking onto Marcus with an intensity that sent chills through the room. The assistants exchanged stunned glances as Dr. Collins set the syringe down, grabbing her stethoscope. "His heart rate. It's stabilizing," she said, her voice trembling. Max's eyes tracked her movements, his awareness defying every medical expectation. Marcus's breath caught, his mind reeling. Was this a cruel trick of hope, or something more? Dr. Collins, shaken, began a frantic examination, checking Max's gums, reflexes, and vitals. "I need to run tests," she said, her professionalism barely masking her disbelief. The room buzzed with a new energy, the weight of despair lifting just enough to let possibility creep in. As Max's tail gave a faint wag, Marcus's heart dared to hope. Something extraordinary was unfolding, and it wasn't over yet. A shadow of life flickered in Max's eyes, hinting at a miracle no one could explain. The garden room at Riverdale Veterinary Hospital pulsed with an electric tension, the morning sunlight casting long shadows across Max's blanket. Marcus Thornton knelt beside his German shepherd, his heart caught between dread and a fragile hope. Max, moments ago sedated and on the brink of death, now gazed at him with startling clarity, his soft woof echoing in the stunned silence. Dr. Amanda Collins, her stethoscope trembling in her hands, confirmed the impossible. Max's heart rate was strengthening, his vitals defying the sedative's grip. "This shouldn't be happening," she muttered, her voice a mix of awe and disbelief as she scribbled notes furiously. The staff sprang into action, their earlier solemnity replaced by frenetic energy. Blood samples were drawn, monitors reattached, and an ultrasound machine wheeled in. Marcus's eyes never left Max, who tracked every movement with an alertness that seemed to mock the dire prognosis of hours before. A faint wag of Max's tail sent a ripple of warmth through Marcus, a fleeting victory that felt like a lifeline. Yet, the shadow of doubt lingered. Could this be a cruel false dawn, a final surge before the end? Dr. Collins's furrowed brow as she reviewed Max's chart did little to ease Marcus's fears. As the morning wore on, small clues fueled the suspense. Max's breathing steadied, each inhale less labored than the last. His gums, pale and lifeless earlier, showed a hint of pink, a subtle sign of life creeping back. But misdirection struck when a new blood test revealed stubbornly high toxin levels, a grim reminder of his kidney failure. Marcus's hope wavered, his hands clenching the edge of Max's blanket. "He's fighting," Dr. Collins said, her tone cautious. "But we're not out of the woods." The words hung heavy, a reminder that miracles were fragile. Marcus's mind raced, grasping for answers. He recalled a moment on their last hike, Max pausing by a stream, lapping at the water with unusual focus. Had something in that stream poisoned him? Or was the cancer, with its aggressive tumors, the true culprit? The uncertainty gnawed at him, but Max's steady gaze anchored him, a silent promise that their story wasn't finished. A veterinary assistant rushed in, her face alight with news. The latest ultrasound showed a slight reduction in one tumor size. "It's minimal," she cautioned. "But it's something." Marcus's heart leapt, only to sink again when Dr. Collins added, "It could just be inflammation settling. We need more data." The day unfolded in a blur of tests and waiting, each moment a tightrope walk between hope and despair. Max, though still weak, shifted to lie closer to Marcus, his muzzle resting on Marcus's knee. The gesture, so familiar from countless nights of comfort, brought a lump to Marcus's throat. Outside, the spring sun climbed higher, its warmth filtering through the garden room's windows, where a butterfly lingered on the sill, a fleeting symbol of resilience. But tension surged back when Max's breathing hitched briefly, a sharp reminder of his fragile state. Dr. Collins adjusted his her expression unreadable, and Marcus's stomach twisted. Was this progress, or a delay of the inevitable? By mid-afternoon, another clue emerged. Max's kidney function, while still compromised, showed marginal improvement, a statistic that Dr. Collins called statistically improbable. She consulted a colleague over the phone, her voice low but urgent. "I've never seen tumors shrink this fast without intervention," she said, glancing at Max with something akin to reverence. Marcus caught the word spontaneous, and his pulse quickened. Could Max's body be fighting back in ways science couldn't explain? Yet, the specter of the cancer's aggression loomed, and Dr. Collins warned that any gains could reverse without warning. As evening approached, Max's strength seemed to ebb, his eyes growing heavy. Panic gripped Marcus, his hand tightening on Max's fur. Had the fight been an illusion? But then, Max lifted his head, letting out a low, determined growl, a sound Marcus hadn't heard since their last shift at the fire station. The room stilled, the staff exchanging glances. "He's still in there?" an assistant whispered, and Marcus's chest swelled with a mix of pride and fear. Dr. Collins, now poring over fresh test results, paused, her eyes widening. "His white cell count, it's climbing. His immune system's responding." The words were a lifeline, but her next sentence cut through the relief. "We don't know if it's enough." The suspense tightened, each small victory shadowed by the threat of loss. Marcus leaned close, whispering to Max, "You've never given up on me, buddy. Don't stop now." Max's ear flicked, as if hearing the plea. Outside, the courtyard glowed under a sunset, its colors vivid against the gathering dusk. A single paw print, pressed into the soft earth near the fountain days earlier, caught Marcus's eye through the window, a quiet testament to Max's presence. As Dr. Collins prepared for another round of tests, Marcus felt a shift in the air, a sense that something extraordinary was building. Max's eyes met his, bright with a fire that refused to fade, and Marcus dared to believe they were on the cusp of something no one could predict.